What once was disaster, fuel for those who Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Oh, yeah.
It's the all athletes edition.
Players
all
Tribune.
Football athletes edition.
Look out.
We got old stories for
Feeling
y'all.
extra black today.
Dustin is 3/4 black today.
We got
Yeah.
McNuggets. McNuggets might be him
I
and
grew up
Dustin.
in locker rooms, bro.
Him
Come
and
on.
Dustin might be like this, but who's the
yeah.
blackest
Dustin's a
on
way
the
better
show?
athlete than I was. No, Dustin, I was a decent athlete. Dustin was a legit elite athlete.
I'm talking about just for the culture, man.
Yeah,
y'all like
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Both of y'all is y'all
Dustin
like neck
likes
and
shoes
neck.
more
You guys-
than me.
you guys have been
He
like,
got more swag more than me.
You guys have been grooming Steve, though.
Yeah, we
I think you guys have been grooming Steve pretty good.
Steve got a new whip now.
See-
I still don't know what it is, but he got a new whip out there. I seen the little, he got a
See-
Ferrari. You know, when you get older like that, you start splurging a little bit. So, he got like a little Ferrari
I
out
think
there.
Steve might be burying his money. I think he
You
got
think so?
he got it in a plastic bag underneath the patio.
Steve does exactly what you would think, what they say rich people supposed to do. You like we spend ours on shoes, clothes, car.
Yeah.
Steve don't do that. Like he got plans and stuff like
Oh
that.
no! Y'all gotta put some respect on Dustin's name. I done been some places with Dustin and his brother that definitely puts him in the. He's definitely a hood.
He in the culture, huh?
Yeah, he's in the culture. He has his card. I've been a couple places. Yeah, I got to take it to my grave. But they do it up big. They do it big.
You like that, Dustin?
I'm cool with it.
You get down, huh? I like that.
Dustin, like I'm a new. See, I love this, but you could always be like, I'm a new man. Ain't that great?
I'm a
It
new
go-
man.
It goes under everything.
life, man.
I'm a new guy, bro. Listen. I still got stuff. I'm like, listen. I don't know you. I don't know you at all. Tyvis, you're a good guy, so
Yeah, I try to do the right thing. I live my life trying to do the right things. You know what I'm saying? I try to stay out the way.
Yeah, man.
I try to be a positive role model.
He's back. So so let's talk about this. Tyvis is back in the shoe game now.
No,
is
I'm
he
not.
not back now competing, Dustin?
Nope.
We're going to find out.
We're gonna find. We're gonna see.
We're going to find out.
We're gonna find
We are
out.
going to
We're gonna find out where your heart is at.
Listen, like I said, I got every shoe that I wanted. That's the thing. Like when you're a kid, like it's certain shoes you want. Like and your mama like, no, you can't get those. And when you get older, you get a couple dollars. It's like, oh, I'm gonna finally get the stuff that I want.
Bro.
And it was only like a few pair of Jordans that I was like, I gotta have, and I got them all. I might need to rebuy them.
No.
But I got all the ones that I kind of wanted.
See, this is
Well, now you got to get different colorways.
Yeah.
Nah, see,
Don't try to.
I don't need to do all that.
Don't
I need to
you-
do all that.
I don't
I want
try-
my kids to be fly.
Oh Lord, this is what we be talking about out here, man. Y'all ever have a friend that want to grow up? Like, don't nobody want to see your growth. Like you gonna be with us forever.
Gee, it's not. The thing is, I wanted to be like. I don't want my kids to be like me, to where they like, can I get this? And I'm like, no, you can't. Like, I don't want that to be the thing. I want them to be like, yeah, we got shoe money. You can get a steak money. We got McDonald's money. We got like that's where I'm trying to be. That's like I'm cool with that.
Okay.
Look at you. He's sick. He disgusted at me right now.
McNuggets. It's like you can never have too many quarterbacks. And we got one we gonna talk about today. One I'm not gonna say his name.
We'll get to that in a little bit, but we got to start with the breaking Myles Garrett news that came out this morning. If you guys missed it, according to Tom Pelissero, Brown star Myles Garrett recently requested a meeting with owner Jimmy Haslam, who declined to speak amidst Garrett's trade request, per sources. Both sides are dug in. Cleveland refuses to discuss a trade while Garrett is preparing to miss games if he's not traded. Tom Pelissero then followed that up, saying, quote, Myles Garrett has made clear since the end of last season that he wants to continue his Hall of Fame career elsewhere. The Browns organization, from ownership to GM to coach, is aligned on its offseason plans, which does not include trading Myles Garrett. Stay tuned. Mary Kay then chimed in with Jimmy Haslam told Myles Garrett to talk to Browns general manager Andrew Berry when Garrett asked to meet with Haslam amid his trade request, sources tell Cleveland.com. And then Aditi, friend of the show, chimed in with a little more context on Myles Garrett big picture. Aditi said, when Myles Garrett was playing through injuries to both feet, a thigh, and an Achilles this year, he told our NFL on CBS crew how bothered he was that certain Browns teammates weren't giving better energy. He said he'd called out offensive teammates for their body language, and when I asked why, if he was so irritated he didn't just have surgery, he said, quote, I want to win. This is my purpose until it's not, end quote. Which is to say, one, this has been brewing and isn't only about the QB, and two, I may not know another superstar who could so quickly pivot to another purpose. Garrett has never defined himself solely by football. In a game of chicken, this is a man who could easily go write anime or live abroad until he gets his way. Now on NFL Network this morning, we got a little more context from Mike Garafolo on the stalemate currently happening between the Browns and Myles Garrett. So let's listen to Mike Garafolo, who gives a little more context into how this call happened and what it means.
Let's bring up Tom Pelissero's post on X here and run through the news here and provide the context for what is happening. Myles Garrett, we know he wants a trade. He's made that clear. Not about money. It's about playing for a competitive team. Does not feel right now the Browns are in that situation. The Browns have made it clear, publicly, privately, we are not trading this guy. He is not going anywhere. Andrew Berry telling me at the Combine, a future in which Myles Garrett is not playing for the Browns. That's not a future that we want to be in. So here's what happened. Garrett reached out to Jimmy Haslam, requested a meeting with the owner, according to Tom Pelissero's sources, and Haslam said no. Now, my understanding is the reason that Haslam said no here is we know what the issues are. We know about the communication between your agent and Andrew Berry, our general manager, and our organization, the communication both sides. You need to go to Andrew Berry on this. And Haslam does, full trust in Berry to handle this situation, and basically redirected Garrett and his agent to Berry in this situation, saying, you're not going to go around the general manager and come to me to get this thing done. So this one is going to be a standoff that's going to take a while. We've been saying that from the beginning. This is something that could last through the spring, into the summer, perhaps into the regular season. We'll see where it goes. But the Browns have made it clear they're not interested in trading Myles Garrett. They're not interested in having conversations about trading Myles Garrett with other teams. And Jimmy Haslam's not interested in having a conversation with Garrett about the situation that doesn't include the general manager, Andrew Berry. So all right, that's where we stand. This continues to unfold, Jamie.
So, G. Bush, you saw the initial report. We saw what Aditi added. We heard what Mike Garafolo added in terms of context. The Browns appear to be at a stalemate. Quick reminder, Myles Garrett asked to meet with Jimmy Haslam. Jimmy said, no, I'm good. Talk to Andrew Berry. G, what do you make of this ongoing situation here with the Browns?
Man, this got a lot of layers to it, fellas. This got a lot of layers. And the first thing I took away from it, I don't want to just jump from A to B or jump all the way through a lot of the points, but that's very striking to me, because when your owner has a reputation for saying, all right, I'm the king of knee-jerk, forget the Duke of knee-jerk, I'm a guy that's very easily impressionable. I'm a guy that really, moves on my own time, and I'm a guy that will speak out of emotion. Mm-hmm. This was a change of pace for me, because what this tells me is we may think that Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski are on a short leash, but this doesn't read short leash. This reads, hey, go talk to my people. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, he couldn't even get the meeting. You see what I'm saying? He may really feel like AB is going to be here regardless of whether the Browns play bad this year. It almost like they said they signed the peace treaty and was like, yeah, we screwed up the Deshaun Watson thing. Just go ahead and handle this. We got y'all back for 3 years. That's what this screams.
I mean, I don't disagree with that part. I mean, it definitely comes off as like maybe he thought to himself, you know what, I done been in it too much, and ever since I've been in it, I've put us back. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sit back. I'm going to get y'all handle this. It could go one or two ways. Man. It could be I'm going to sit back and let y'all handle this because I hired y'all to do that job. Or it could be this is y'all last season, so I'm going to let y'all do everything y'all think y'all need to do to win this season. And I'm going to stay out of it. And I'm going to if y'all don't get it done, it's on y'all. Like that's kind of
I
it could
like
be that too.
It could be that. Definitely could be that.
So it could be because people still don't know what the whole Deshaun thing is. I think I kind of got an idea, but some people believe that Jimmy was the one that ultimately wanted Deshaun, and if that's the case, and he's seen how that unfolded,
yeah,
he could be like, all right, I messed that up, so y'all go ahead,
get this off.
I'm gonna let y'all do y'all thing.
Dustin, what's your read?
So I'm cool with Haslam not having the meeting. I don't think he's being rude.
No.
I don't think he's trying to, creating controversy here. He's just trying to let his guys do their job.
Mm-hmm.
If he steps in, he sort of cuts off the head of the snake.
Yes.
With Andrew Berry, which is what he's trying to not do. My whole issue with this thing is like Myles Garrett is not going to play for the Browns anymore. I'm convinced.
That's what
that
he's saying.
He will never play for the Browns again.
Yeah.
And the Browns need to come to that realization that this dude doesn't need you.
Yeah.
He's a different cat. Like, he's given you 8 years of his life, of his career. He's going to be a Hall of Famer basically off the 8 years he played in Cleveland already. Mm-hmm. Okay? So let's go out here and get the most from Myles Garrett while we can.
Yep.
As opposed to making this circus last throughout this offseason, throughout the draft, throughout the preseason, regular season games, whatever. Like, they don't need this distraction. Myles Garrett is an asset for them right now to go out and try and improve this football team. It needs a quarterback desperately, and a hell of a lot more than that, by the way. So what are we doing?
Well, I get the hesitation because he is the one thing on defense that's a constant. Everybody else might have up and down seasons, but Myles Garrett's year in and year out, when he's healthy, produces as one of the best defensive players in the league. And you don't want to lose that asset. However, it goes back to what Jason said, like maybe was that week or two ago. If somebody don't want to be here, don't force him to be here. Like he talked about the Cavs with Kobe Altman. He was like, Kobe got all the people that didn't want to be with the Cavs, he got them out. He got people that wanted to be here. Same thing with the Guardians. They got people that want to be here. With the Cleveland Browns, like, why are y'all the only ones trying to be opposite of that? Like, if he don't want to be here, he's not going to give you 100% effort. It's not going to be genuine anymore. So take that, use that piece to rebuild and establish the right culture. Get guys that want to be here. It's really your chance to start over. Because the thing is, if you sit here and you keep him on the roster and he decides to sit out, nobody's winning. Y'all ain't winning games, and he ain't being productive, and he wasting a year of his career. So, stop doing that. Let's just move on. It is what it is. It was a great run while it lasted. Let's move on, get the best that we can get for him. I would understand if you want to wait till after June, because doesn't his cap hit go down after June 1st or something like that? So if you want to wait till after June 1st, it won't be this draft. Obviously, you ain't going to be able to get nothing from him for this draft. So you have to think about next year's draft and the year after that and just move on. It is what it is.
Don't you think Myles Garrett could like, the Browns are trying to call his bluff, like he's not
going to sit out. All of a
sudden, in the fall they start finding him $900,000 or whatever it may be per day, per game, whatever. Like, I don't think he cares.
No,
I think he'd sit there and be like, okay.
He's not one of them dudes. Like,
he don't need it.
He got his bread. Trust me,
his bread
is very secure. Like, we talked about joking people burying money. Myles Garrett.
How much is he supposed to make this year? McNuggets?
Who, Myles Garrett?
Oh, this season?
Yeah, just this season alone.
He has an average annual salary. I can pull it up for you real quick, but it's an average annual salary of $26 million. So
he's not spending
this
none of
year,
that.
something like that.
He's not spending none of
Give
that.
me 1 second.
So he'll get $26 million. He gonna put $26 million on. That's a lot of money.
He's not spending
That's a lot of money.
He got that. We got that.
Myles in 2025 has a cap hit of just shy of $20 million. When you add the prorated signing bonus to the other bonuses to the base salary for this season, it comes out to, right around what I said.
$26 million.
So
26 on the table. Man.
Guys, I'm with Dustin. I think you're spot on here. When you talk about Kevin Stefanski, you talk about Andrew Berry. They need everything to go right this season for them to keep their jobs. This is just I think everybody thinks that. So if you got Kevin Stefanski, who was they already got the Deshaun Watson thing just lingering, just hanging over their head. Mm-hmm. They don't have a quarterback. Chances are they're going to get a young quarterback. Mm-hmm. So now they got to get him together, make sure he's straight, fix the offense. They got a new offensive line coach. By the way, Nick Chubb's not there. right? People are going to be talking about that all year. Let the running game not look good. People are going to go back to that. By the way, JOK, we don't know if he's ever going to play again. So you're going to have all of these negative things just sitting there. And I would have a PR person come in and tell him, sometimes it's better just rip the Band-Aid off and keep it pushing.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not going to bring Nick Chubb back, everybody is salty about that. Adabul had an epic rant about it. But if you didn't bring Nick Chubb back, what makes you think that Myles Garrett is going to say, okay, Nick Chubb just left. I'm going to show up and I'm going to play now. He wanted to leave when Nick Chubb was probably going to be on the team. Think about that. Like, he's not going to switch it up. He's not going to change. And if you're Kevin Stefanski, the worst thing in the world you need is playing a rookie quarterback. The offense don't look that good, and you still got Deshaun Watson talking about he rehabbing, and Myles Garrett getting fined $1,000 or $1 million a day or hour, and you're wanting something. That is, I'm getting fired week 5.
Well, the interesting thing is the one thing, Bull would always talk about when people would say Kevin Stefanski's a good coach, and then the question would be, well, why do you think he's a good coach? And a lot of people would be like, well, he won Coach of the Year.
Twice.
That would be their answer. And he'd be like, well, that's not enough. Well, my answer to that question was always, I thought he did a really good job of managing chaos. Anytime something was going on with the team or in the locker room, he still got those guys to lock in and go perform on Sundays. Obviously, last year was what it was, but they still had some moments where they look really good. And the funny thing about that part of me saying that is, after all of his history, after everything he's done, the Coach of the Year, doing the COVID year, all the rotating quarterbacks, what I just said, why I like him, this season is the biggest test. This is the most chaos. That he no starting quarterback, the Deshaun stuff, your best player won out, you ain't bringing back your star running back, your best lineman is on his last leg. Like, you got to manage all that and still go out there and have a productive season to keep your job. We think.
Yes.
That's crazy to me. But it's if he pulls it off, it's like you can't say nothing negative about the guy no more.
Some would argue one of those moves are self-inflicted.
That's true.
McNuggets.
I want to ask you guys this. We have given Jimmy a lot of crap since the show started for a lot of rumors, stories, stuff we had heard about him meddling. In this instance, Myles requested a call or a meeting with Jimmy, and Jimmy said, no, talk to AB. He's not meddling in this instance. Dustin, Tyvis, should we look anything into that facet of this whole story with Jimmy, for once, taking a step back and letting the football people he put in charge of running the football operations handle football-related matters?
I think
is that important at all?
It's very important. I mean, I think that it's no secret. Everybody knows that Jimmy always likes to put his 2 cents into things, which as an owner, I get it. Like, you want to do that thing. But if it goes back to the fact that if you hired these guys, you got to trust that these guys know what they're doing, And if you put your 2 cents in it and the team looked the way it looked last year because of your 2 cents, then you got to be smart enough to be like, all right, I messed that up. Let me just fall back this year. And it seems like maybe he's taking responsibility for what happened last year. And he's like, you know what, I'm going to let those guys that I pay that money to, which we still don't know the numbers and the extension on all of that. But if I just extended them and gave them this money, let me make them earn their money.
I just don't know what Jimmy Haslam can do in this situation. Like, he
got veto power, that's all.
Okay, he's got veto power, so what does he do? Like, how can he make Myles Garrett happy? Can he make him want to stay here? Like, what's this conversation even going? Like, if Myles Garrett gets a hold of Jimmy Haslam, and I'm sure he can get a hold of him if he wants to.
I'm sure he could.
I mean, they're trying to set up something formal, I get that, but like, if they have a conversation, what's the conversation like?
I think by the end of that conversation, Myles will have the answer on whether or not he's getting traded. Definitively.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
because if the owners say, okay, I see what you're saying, all right, we're going to trade you.
Like,
you're getting traded.
Don't you guys think, though, like the way Myles took the shot at Andrew Berry in his commentary about, like, hey, I don't want to go from Cleveland to Canton. That whole thing was a total middle finger to Andrew Berry. Like, do you get the sense that he really wants to sit down with Andrew Berry and try to work with the guy?
I think that was so I love the movie Game of Thrones. Again, love the show. I think that was a way to incite them to get emotional, right? Myles Garrett knows pretty much that they can't move him before the trade deadline. Like before, not the trade deadline, but before June 1st, and then he knows the combine, and he knows that people are going to be making moves this year. So for Myles Garrett, he wants it done today because he feels like, okay, if I do it now, there's more contenders that could be in the mix.
On that exact point, I have to just interject here. Free agency starts Monday.
Right.
These contenders that we could consider potential landing spots for Myles Garrett, Philly, Washington, whoever else, Buffalo. If Myles isn't on their team by Monday, they have to proceed as if he will not be on their team. So Myles is up against the clock here. If I want out, I got to get out now because you can't have another team sit and wait for the chance that the Browns are going to change their mind and eventually trade you. And he has to put the pedal to the pressure.
And think about it. We talk about money all the time. Like who can you extrapolate out? Like after free agency, who's going to have the type of money and assets to be able to get Myles Garrett and give him a new contract in June or July? That I don't know guys that got cap room like that. At least not contenders like he wants to play on. So for him, he gonna try to put everything in the book. I don't care if I got to call names. I don't care if I got to do something extra. I don't care if I got to make you mad. And so that's why you see that was a crazy reach. He just went and said, "Hey Jimmy, hey, I got to talk to you, dog." Jimmy's like, "Nah, I know what the timetable is. I mean, you just want to get up out of here." No.
I mean,
but isn't the timetable kind of working against the Browns as well in some ways?
But the situation at the end is if they trade him, then the cap messed up, right? Ain't that what it is? Like they can't trade him because of his cap hit?
They can't theoretically do it because of the money.
Yeah,
they're like, "Look, bro."
That's what I'm saying. So like, what they supposed to do? Like, I'm not about to trade you and go in the hole. Yeah,
we just had to restructure Deshaun Watson to get some operating capital, just to get some money to like pay for the coffee. Yeah, like we try to keep the lights on, and you want to trade? No, we can't do that. We can. And here's the thing: maybe if both sides said this, if they came together and said, "Look, all we need you to do is stop talking reckless, and I'm gonna tell you, I'll give you my personal word that we are going to trade you, but we can't trade you now. The money ain't right. We're going to have to find something and later on during camp." Now, his side is going to say, "But listen, that's not to the teams we want to go to, though." Because let's best believe he has 3 teams in mind. He has the teams in mind. It's just the fact that they don't know if they got the capital or ready to do it, Dustin. So is he going to sit out half of the – he's not going to be a training camp.
I think he tells the Browns, "Hey guys, listen, do what you want. If you don't trade me, I'm going to retire." Does he have that big of balls?
No, because he want to win. I think for this situation, I think the Browns. I think the Browns ultimately will trade Myles Garrett before the season starts. I do think that they're just going to wait till after June 1st to do it. Because of the money situation. I just truly think that they realize the situation what it is, and I think right now they're playing hardball to try to make teams think that they're not going to do it, and how much they really want to keep Myles Garrett and try to work it out to try to drive the price up. I also understand the fact that free agency is coming up, but with the free agency coming up, none of them still is Myles Garrett.
No.
None of those DNs that you're about to, they're not Myles. So at the end of the day, if Myles becomes available and I'm the Commanders, the Eagles, or the Lions, I'm still going for that, but I still want that guy because that's a game changer. And then all these people are like, "Well, you should trade him to the worst team and blah, blah, blah." Well, the worst team got bigger fish to fry.
Right.
They're in the same boat that the Browns are in, where we're talking about.
A bad team's not going to trade for Myles Garrett.
Yeah, that's not going to put them over there. Myles Garrett is the piece that's going to help a team that's right there on the cusp get over the hump. Mm-hmm. And if any team that's way down, they probably a quarterback away or something like that. So they're not looking for Myles Garrett. So therefore, they're not going to trade for Myles Garrett.
I think Jimmy Haslam is also looking at it like this, man. Hey, we got fleeced. The 3-1s, we got fleeced.
We need them back.
He's telling Andrew, we better get us. Hey, go get your lick back. Go get your hit back. We need to fleece somebody at least. Because here's what they started to do, and they started to play us with this McNuggets. Now, mind you, we had all of them picks involved with Deshaun Watson, and they laughed at us. Worst trade in history, ha! And then we got Myles Garrett, generational player, in his prime on the block. I don't know. I don't see the value. 3. We'll give him a 3 and a 4. Jimmy Haslam was like, no, we're not going to play this game. Cut off all communication.
In terms of the financial ramifications, which Tyvis has alluded to a few times, if the Browns traded Myles Garrett before June 1st, the Browns would incur a $16.5 million dead cap hit. So just to get Myles off the team, you're still getting a $16.5 million dead cap. If they trade him after June 1st, they save $5 million in cap. So you lose his number and save $5 million. So a pretty drastic difference for the Browns in terms of how much money they save and/or have to pay.
And we only got
not have to pay.
Like I said,
and we only got
on the cap.
we only got 12.9 right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're gonna do in the WKYC show a full free agency primer.
$12.9 million.
Not a lot.
That ain't enough to.
I wanted to have a topic in here. Who would be your
Who do they
Browns
need?
number one?
What are they going to? I mean, like they have $12 million. Okay, great, but like
Who?
are you getting anyway?
Nobody.
We're not going to be big time players in free agency anyway.
Ain't nobody coming. Ain't nobody showing up here. Ain't nobody just like, let's go to Cleveland and take a visit. Like we're at the point where your best playmaker.
Sorry to cut you off there, G. Bush. I mean, kind of why. Like you read those numbers, Mikey, about the dead cap and all those things, and yeah, it benefits you to wait till after June 1. But if it's after June 1, then you don't have a trade before the draft, and you don't have a player maybe on your roster for the fall. So like you kind of have to weigh the risk versus reward.
Yeah.
Do we need that extra money right now? I don't know. I think it's a very interesting conversation, and I'll be curious to see how this whole thing plays out because I would rather have a draft pick now, honestly.
Right. At least I could put them on.
Or draft picks.
Yeah, multiple. And so here's the thing. That is another thing.
Well, the interesting part. The interesting part about this is, if you trade Myles, guess what? Guess what they say the number one position in this draft is? Edge rushers. So I'm not saying they're going to be Myles, but you can at least hit on at least somebody that could get you some production because they say if you need a DN, this is the draft because there's so many of them.
Hey, you know what's wild is when they didn't bring back Chubb, to me, that signaled, hey, bro.
Running backs is another big thing in this draft, too. That's the second thing.
That signaled, for me, you might as well just go ahead and replenish from the draft, bro.
Yep.
Get you a running back. If you want to get you a defensive end, get you a quarterback. At least from a PR standpoint, to me, young talent that look actually competitive and entertaining is the only way they save their job. These little storylines with Myles Garrett hanging around, and you don't need that, man. You want people to be going to these games and watching the games being like, hey, man, I'm trying to see X quarterback throw to young receiver. Did you see that young running back do what he did? Wow, the Browns are really competitive, man. I think they got some foundation here. If you win 5-6 games that way, people will respect that. But if you trying to hold on to these vets, look, I want Myles Garrett to be here. I want Nick Chubb to be here. It ain't happening. What am I supposed to do? So at the end of the day, they got to find a way to maximize the trade and be like some of these other teams, man. When the 49ers drafted Trey Lance and they found out he was garbage, bye. When they found out in L.A. when Goff wasn't no good, what did they do?
Trade?
Oh, but you got to go. Sorry. Jimmy Garoppolo. These dudes been in the Super Bowl. Can you imagine if you made it to a Super Bowl in Cleveland? You get a statue and all you can eat corned beef forever. You're never going anywhere. But they cut people like that.
Oh, you could eat Polish boys and corned beef sandwiches.
Yeah,
that's a nice life.
Hey, not just simple Polish boys, though.
No.
Let's wrap this topic with this. Come Monday, and we're going to talk Cavs next, but come Monday, we have any progress in a Myles Garrett deal? Will he still be on the roster come Monday morning?
Of course. He was on the roster, fellas.
Will Myles be on the roster in the fall?
No,
Monday morning.
Start a free agent.
Yes.
2 yeses, Dustin. You make it 3 for 3?
Yeah, I think he will be. But I think there's a chance. I mean, I'll say 75% he's on the roster.
Unless somebody come, to me, it's all about the other teams, and if the other teams, like, I don't see anybody too desperate. Like, I don't see anybody that's like, oh, we need to get this done today.
I mean, the Commanders, the Eagles, and the Lions will be the top 3 teams, which I don't mind sending them to any because they all on the NFC anyway.
Right.
Are the Browns delusional?
What do you mean?
With like what like I don't know.
What you think
about what they can get from?
Well, number one, about how competitive they think they're going to be this year.
They have to be, though, because we think, and we could be wrong, we think Stefanski and Barry are on the hot seat for this year. So they.
I mean, I think they're on a hot seat. You think they're on a hot seat.
Yeah.
You think they're on a hot seat. You think they're on a hot seat. But the Browns apparently don't. Because
well, I tell you what, the way that
that's kind of factual,
they treat this draft and free agency, the moves that they make, will tell us. If it's some stuff that they like reaching, like all right, we know what it is. But if it's oh yeah, we're gonna get the young quarterback. We're gonna get the
mean,
young,
like,
and you getting a bunch of young guys. That means that you must be good past this season.
Like, we thought the Cavs were ballsy by running it back and getting rid of the coach, right? And they
Yep.
didn't really change the roster that much, but they had great players.
Yeah.
Okay. The Browns don't like. When I say delusional, I mean, like, are they looking at their roster and do they feel like they can compete right now because they can't?
Or
Well,
do
they can't.
Well, I mean, think about it. Your best player on defense is asking for a trade. Your next best player on defense might not take a snap. Your quarterback, you still don't have a quarterback. Your best running back is gone
Because you didn't want him back.
because you didn't want him back.
I think the point.
So it's
Dustin,
like that's what it's like.
we'll leave it at here, but I think Dustin is saying maybe are we a little too premature with saying that they are on the hot seat, because for some of these moves, it looks like Haslam's have some sort of faith in Andrew Berry and Stefanski. They don't seem too panic to me.
Talk to the hand.
Yeah.
Talk to AB.
Go talk to my mans over here.
And we'll see what happens if they start off with a 2-7 record. We'll see how the tides change.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't, but we'll see what happens if they do. All right,
hope
guys,
they
let's
don't.
talk a little Cavaliers. They got a game tonight
Yay!
against the Charlotte Hornets, and when the game kicks off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to place a bet on a fourth-quarter comeback, you can stay in on the action. And if you're looking for bigger payouts, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if their first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to join today. That is FanDuel.com/UCSS for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Guys, we talked about it yesterday. The incredible start the Cleveland Cavaliers have gotten off to this season. As it stands right now, they're the first team and the only team in the league to officially clinch a playoff spot. They are 52-10. That's tied for the 8th best start in the history of the league. They have 3 separate 12-game win streaks this season, including the one they are currently on. They're only the second team to ever do that, and it's the best start in team history, 1 game better than when they won 66 games back in 2008-2009 with LeBron James. They have 20 games to go. If they go 18-2 over the final 20 games, they can join an exclusive club. Only 2 teams in the history of the NBA. The Warriors, the season they lost to the Cavaliers in the finals, and the Bulls in 1995-1996. The only 2 teams to ever win 70 regular season games. The Cavs, based on their current win percentage, are projected to get right into that 69-70 win area. Dustin, I know it sounds crazy. Their win total entering the season was just at 50. Could these Cavs really win 70 games this season?
Yes. Yes, they can. The question I have is how bad do they want it, and do they need to? Because I think they could win every single game the rest of the season if they want to. But the question is, how much do you want to put into it? I mean, I know we can point back to when the Warriors had the run and they went for it at the end of the year, and yeah, they didn't win the title. We know that. We know how that whole thing has played out. But I still think the Cavs have to do what's in their best interest of their team and their health. Okay, if they're flying high and they're rolling good, fine, play your guys. Dude, I mean, see what the players want to do. If the players want to go for it, go for it. I don't really have a problem with it if it's not going to affect your availability in the postseason. And it's not going to drain energy or health from what we're trying to accomplish, which is winning a ship.
Yes.
Not a regular season award or
citizenship
record.
award.
Exactly, right? I mean, to me, it's cool, but at the end of the day, nobody is going to remember a 70-win Cavaliers team if they don't win the NBA Finals.
I actually agree with you on that one. I would say if I was a player on this Cavs team, first of all, like 70 is fine, but like you're not once you break the franchise record, which is 66, like once I break that, like all right, because unless it was trying to beat the Warriors record, like that's totally different. Like go for all out for that. But like now that that's not a thing, okay, I win 70 games. That puts me to the 3rd best team to ever do that. Like, okay, that's woohoo. Like, that's nothing really something that I would be locked in on. I think once you get the franchise record, I think this team is then switching to we're in playoff mode. Like, it's about saving our body, making sure that we're fresh for playoff mode. So I don't think that they actually want to win 70 games. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, it'd be fine, but like,
secretly, dude, I kind of hope they drop a couple games.
Like,
They don't have to have the
like you
pressure.
playing too.
Like-
I think he's saying that pressure.
Just
no,
take the pressure
that pressure be on the fans, right?
70?
Because think about it. They come out round one, they playing somebody, and they down 20 in the third quarter.
a
And
problem.
get them on 70 games.
they might get booed.
Do you know what kind of Twitter fingers I'm gonna have?
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna be like Inspector Gadget
Secretly.
needs Penny just on a notebook. That was cheating, by the way. How does Penny have a MacBook Pro in 1984 for Inspector Gadget? No wonder Dr. Clark ain't get no money off. But anyway, I digress. McNuggets, here's what I'm.
That was a hell of a poll, G.
Yeah, that
It was such a pull that I'm blown away.
Here's the thing. Let me ask you this question. If you win them 70 games and then you run through the Eastern Conference, gentlemen sweep.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Gentlemen sweep of the Celtics.
Oh, we back in the Bron days.
Now hold on. Gentlemen sweep of the Celtics, 4-1. You go play a team like OKC, who also has a crazy record, and you beat them in the finals.
We're talking history.
They literally can say we are the best team in the history of the game.
No, they're not. The Chicago Bulls.
Hold on, but for a year they can even say the Chicago Bulls. Who did the Chicago Bulls play in 98 when they were when 97? They played the Jazz, right?
Or Blazers. I forget.
Jazz, was it Jazz?
I don't remember.
Which year? The year they won 72 or 97?
Yeah, 72.
Hold on.
The year they won that 72 game.
What you trying to say about the Jazz?
Well, let me show you what I'm saying. They're not gonna have a better record than the Thunder.
He's trying to say that the Cavaliers beating the Thunder will be more impressive than the Bulls beating the Jazz in the finals.
That's a lie.
Why won't it?
That's a lie. They had 2 Hall of Famers on that team.
I don't care what they wasn't playing.
Yes, they were.
They was
They
play-
beat the Seattle Supersonics.
Oh, they
in
beat the
championship.
Sonics. What was the Sonics record that year?
The Sonics record that season was 64-18.
That's a nice.
What you saying now?
That's a nice season.
Yeah, what you talking about?
I didn't know Rain Man was doing it like that. I didn't know Kemp and Payton.
Can I make the case for
But I'm still saying, but theoretically, McNuggets, they could say we are one of the best teams of all time if they win that many games and they win a championship.
Absolutely. Let me make the case for how I view this with the Cavaliers in terms of their chase for 70. I would not play guys if they need a night off. If someone's banged up and they need a little rest to recover, your health for the playoffs is more important than any regular season accomplishment. Let me reemphasize that one more time. Being as healthy as humanly possible for the playoffs trumps everything else. With that being said, the Cavs this season, because of their elite depth, aren't playing anyone more than 32, 33, 34 minutes tops in a game.
Great point.
You can't really scale that back when you get ready to go to the playoffs. Like LeBron James goes from 38 minutes to the final 2 weeks playing 32, 33 minutes. That's already what their top players are playing.
Mikey, isn't there a chance that they could actually break this record or win 70 games? But not saying they're not
Justin, that's my
not
point.
saying they're not trying.
No,
but,
Justin,
but just
that's my
do
point.
what they've
Yes.
been doing.
Yes,
Continue to do that because it's worked.
exactly.
And they may just get there.
You got that.
So
you got that.
they play 10, 11, 12 guys already. They've won 12 games in a row, and on this 12-game win streak, Mobley's had a rest day. Mitchell's had a scheduled rest day. We've seen games where in this 12-game stretch, Ty Jerome's been the leading scorer. Sam Merrill's been the leading scorer. Evan Mobley's been the leading scorer. Donovan Mitchell's been the leading scorer. DeAndre Hunter's been the leading scorer. Not only do they have the 1 seed in the East clinched, another reason to keep your foot on the gas to a certain extent is despite being 52-10, they're only a game ahead of OKC. And the best record in the finals gets home court advantage. So if you want Game 7 at home in an NBA Finals potentially, you do have to finish with a better record than OKC. So they do have some incentive to play this out. I don't think it's worth sacrificing if Donovan's hamstring, whatever, gets tweaked. Let him rest. Give him the full time to recover. But they're not overexerting themselves to get to 52-10. If they don't change anything and just keep going status quo through the final 20 games, which is not a gauntlet in terms of opponents, I think they can get pretty damn close, guys. If not, definitely get to 7.
They even be playing these dudes listen, my wife will say, babe, Like, who is this? Who is this random person out here getting baskets? What's his name? The dude? He came in against the Chicago Bulls and was like, "Yo, I'm him for 3.5 minutes."
Ooh.
You know who he hit a three?
Devontae Green.
Oh yeah.
Random hood figure, like Devontae Green sounds.
It's Javante.
It's Javante.
Javante Green is dominant.
Tried to make him more hood.
The rec center. He plays in Timberlands. Like this dude. The fact that he was in here like playing well, I said, "Oh, the Cavs got." I was tweeting. I said, "They're done. They starting off too sluggish. They led too many. They don't have the defensive capsule and they ain't ready to go." And you put Javante Green in, and he's throwing dimes and shooting buckets and baskets. And listen, they be keeping Dean Wade in when he ain't hitting not one shot. I'm like, dang, Dean Wade ain't coming out yet. The rotations have been 5 to 10 man deep. 10 people. Isaac Okoro played a whole lot of minutes, and they still keep winning. If there was a game that they were supposed to lose, was the last game. And I'm like, oh, this is a wrap. You should have lost to the Blazers.
You seen what Terry Rozier was
Yeah, I was going
doing.
to say, you saw Rozier out there just shaving points.
I mean, but Bam was hot. Oh, listen.
He said he in deep.
Oh, wow.
He in deep with them people.
Hey, the FanDuel, hey, don't put that on that man's
Man, every under prop. Man, Rozier.
Terry Rozier usually kills the Cavs.
I know he do. Like, he be going crazy. He was turning it over at a high clip.
He had a duffel bag full of,
It's just wild.
Man.
But I will tell you.
Allegedly, I'm saying.
Allegedly, yeah, we don't want to get him in that FanDuel trap. He was not, we did not know anything about that. But I will say this, McNuggets, you're right. Dustin's right, too. It's like, they're not even really trying. It ain't like they're playing the core four, and they won't even put Hunter in the starting lineup yet. They're like, nah, we don't need it. And they're playing guys. Strus is playing bigger minutes in overtime. Sam Merrill is playing lots of minutes. It's just like they're like, okay, if we want to go out there and play, we're going to have our guys play. If we get it, we get it. We don't, we don't.
Yeah, no player, star player, starting player, a player who's going to play big-time minutes in the postseason is being taxed more than they should be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In fact, like this is a nice – because you don't want to go in the playoffs with guys just like not playing and, whatever. You want them to still play and feel like you're in rhythm and all those things. But they're not asking them to play. Like those numbers that Mikey read about the amount of minutes they're playing – they're like way down compared to last year.
Do you see how Donovan Mitchell was playing? Donovan Mitchell, and I thought they did a good job of explaining this. I forget which cast, because the Cavs are on national TV all the time now. There were so many different commentators talking about it.
Cavs are so good they got Barkley fighting Kendrick Perkins.
Right, that's how good they is. And you know what? They said it. Donovan Mitchell is playing at a level or a pace where it's kind of like. He just the game just slowed all the way down to him. Like the way he dribbling, and he like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the rack. My pull up is working. My step back is lethal. You just could tell, like he's just at a different level where he playing with this level of confidence. Like I don't even need to do this, but if I really wanted to, I could get 30 on y'all and get y'all out of here. But I'm trying to work with my man Evan Mobley. It's just like he playing. I'm trying to get my other.
I'm working on something today.
Yeah, I'm working. I'm working
on my left.
Yeah.
It just trips me. It trips me out that he is 6'1" doing this.
Yeah.
Every time I think about like when he be dunking, I be like, this man is 6'1".
He dunked the ball off a straight.
He's your size, dude.
I'm taller than that.
He taller than Donovan.
That's the craziest part.
Tyvis is taller than Donovan. Yes.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is, he caught the ball on a little loose ball and was under the basket and just dunked 2 hands off.
I know.
I know you've seen that.
Dude got bounce out this world.
I was like, you bouncing like that?
The most impressive move Donovan does is when he's attacking the basket, when he's going downhill, and mid-dribble, he takes the ball and brings it around the defender with one hand.
That move is unstoppable.
And I think he's the only guy in the league that does it. Like, he's by far the best at it. If someone else does it, I just don't watch. I haven't seen it enough. He does it on a rate. I don't know if we have a highlight of it.
He does it 3-4 times a day. A game.
It's a Euro step, but with the ball.
First of all,
he's bringing it around. It's a high. I don't even know what you call it.
First
I don't
of
know how he
all,
developed it.
let me stop you. What I'm gonna tell you is, you're not gonna act like the Wizard didn't do this all the time. Kyrie Irving is the first person I ever seen.
No, I know he does it.
So we don't act like you don't know nobody else in the league that do it. Stop it. Okay?
Kyrie's nice.
Stop it. Kyrie is
He's the guy.
crazy.
But
Tyree's the guy.
this is the signature move, like in Bulls versus Blazers.
Yeah, this is like two-step, dude.
This is an up-step two-step. This is like a Karl Malone put his, he's doing this. Put his head behind his. This is his signature move, and like he does it 3 or 4 times a game, and it's crazy because it's lethal when the refs let you get that off. Because 5-10 years ago they'd have called that a travel or a carry or something, but they didn't send the tapes into the league and said, "Listen, this is Donovan's move. He gets this off." But he's lethal when it comes to that. Here, I will say this though. I will say this: if there was one person who I am a little I'm a little concerned about, is I'm concerned. It seems as if Darius Garland is not in rhythm.
Here we go, man.
He is not in rhythm right now.
Here you go.
I think he need to play more. They playing a lot of guys. Ty Jerome, believe it or not, done ate into his minutes a lot. Ty Jerome is in a whole lot.
15 and 10.
I love it, but I need
15 and 10.
He's
It's a double-double.
Tyvis, he's balling. But listen, he needs to get to the point where he's aggressive and he's going to give me that 21-22. I need that kick up.
He's still been aggressive. He just hasn't since the Knicks game.
He keeps getting hit in the face.
Right. You see it.
Well,
you see it a little bit.
No, we did it. You weren't here.
I wasn't here though.
It was
I was here.
when Tyvis was here. Yeah, we did. Darius, his numbers the last couple of games, his efficiency way down.
Yeah, because I said he was going to go crazy against the Heat. That was
And he
2.
did not.
It was Wednesday. Yeah, he did not. He had a double-double. He ain't scored like I thought
you
he would.
said put the 25 in
I did say that.
15.
I know. I said take the over. That's what I said. Take
Well,
the
he
over.
didn't hit the over.
He didn't hit the over.
Bad advice on whatever bet. When you look at Darius's numbers, G, since that Knicks game, his efficiency in like the little short mid-range.
Right.
He's still shooting decent from 3. But it's the floaters and finishing at the rim that hasn't been there the last few games, and that's what unlocks Darius's offense.
Yeah.
Because if you got to worry about Darius finishing at the rim, then he gets that extra step to operate on the perimeter.
Yeah.
When he's not finishing at the rim, which he didn't at all last season, this looks a lot more like the Darius from last season. I'm hoping it's just a shooting slump. It happens. He's been incredible. Only guard that was in the 50, 40, 90 club for the majority of the season. He's dropped a little below that because his field goal percentage is now at 48%. But for the most part, he's at his best when he's getting into that 7-foot area and putting defenders in a pickle. Does he take the floater because he's shooting 75% on him, or are you going to leave the alley-oop for Allen or Mobley, whoever, or kick it to the corner? If he's not making that floater, it leaves the decision for the defender much easier, and then they can play him tighter on the perimeter because they're not worried about getting blown by and him being as efficient. So he's got to start making those floaters.
It's on. Do I have confidence in him? Sure. Am I a little scared? Nah, he'll be fine. But that's the only thing I'm seeing right now in terms of what the Cavs are looking like. But like you said, he's been balling out the whole season. And by the way, you can't. There's no zoning the Cavs either. You can't zone the Cavs.
Shoot him right out of there.
DeAndre Hunter. I don't know how they just put him in the middle and just like I'm like. Is this a gap too? This is old school, high school. He at the top of the free throw line. I'm like, this is beautiful. I like this Cavs squad. I'm gonna tell you what, best team ever. Tyvis, they win the championship. They got best team ever. They're in the top 3. Top 3 if
They're
you get
very
there.
good, and we're gonna talk a little more Cavs here
You need to stop.
in a second. Before we do that, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate all the support you guys give us for making UCSS part of your daily routine. It means a lot to us. If your friends aren't subscribed, make sure your friends subscribe. Help us out. And we appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in, especially on days like today where we got a lot to talk about. G. Bush, Adam Schefter on the Adam Schefter podcast the other day mentioned a familiar name in terms of a potential option for the Browns to look at as a bridge quarterback this offseason. So here's 36 seconds of Adam Schefter on his podcast talking about a quarterback I think some people will be excited about.
How about Joe Flacco, who's already led the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs 2 years ago? And there were people in the organization that wanted to keep him. He wanted to play. They let him go because there was some division there. He went to Indianapolis, went fine. But Joe Flacco back to Cleveland could be the perfect bridge quarterback for when Cleveland drafts a quarterback. I expect to be high. So you have Flacco as the potential starter or the rookie if he's ready. Flacco's a great guy to have in the locker room. I think Joe Flacco could be in play in Cleveland.
G. Bush.
Totally agree with that.
All
Sorry.
right, well, Dustin, we can
start me.
We start with him.
That's fine. I love that idea. I think it makes a lot of sense. Deshaun's not going to be around, so that whole, I mean, again, going back to when Flacco was here in that offseason, it seemed like there was a little bit of Deshaun's camp didn't want to have any sort of divisiveness between him versus Flacco because Flacco had a nice run the previous season. So that issue's gone. Flacco can still play. I mean, the guy can throw a deep ball as well as anybody in the league. We know he can run this offense. We know he's cool with running the offense and being the bridge quarterback, which is what the Browns are going to need. We know he'll work with young quarterbacks because the Browns are going to draft a young quarterback. I think this is the perfect fit if they're not going to go a route like Daniel Jones, who's younger, which is another option. I like Flacco a lot.
When you hear Flacco's name, sometimes people conjure up like, oh my goodness, he was killing. Now he played very well while he was here, given the circumstance. The only thing I think about is him saying, "Hey, listen, I'm not really a mentor type guy. I feel like I'm still one of the best dudes to play football." And look, I don't begrudge him for that because that's the mentality you got to have. Like, I'm the best at doing what I'm going to do. I don't want to be no babysitter, and I think it might be more palatable now because I don't think Deshaun Watson is in the mix, and you need more quarterbacks. 2 more quarterbacks. You're going to probably draft one. If I'm mistaken, McNuggets, he's not under contract. Couldn't they just sign him today?
Well, not till free agency starts.
Okay,
because he was
so
with the Colts last year. You can only sign guys who were not on a team at the end of the league calendar.
Okay.
Before the start of the tampering period.
Okay, so look, if put it to you like this, you got Kirk Cousins. You got Joe Flacco. Kirk Cousins is coming off an injury. Joe Flacco isn't. Joe Flacco played last year. He knows the system. People love him. My problem is this. Do you think this is an issue? If you get Flacco and you have a young quarterback, people love Flacco here, bro.
Oh, yeah.
They love him. And if you was trying to get your young guy into the season, because usually that's the Jacoby Brissett role. I'm going to let Jacoby Brissett play for like 8 weeks. You already know he's going to throw yourself out of some games, and we're going to bring this young boy in. But that might not necessarily be like a thing you can do, not necessarily if you're trying to figure out if you're going to play a young guy at least a few games this year, because Flacco is going to play well enough, and people love him. So it's all about what you want to do. Like, how high of a level of a bridge do you want? Do you want the top of the line, Tyvis, at that bridge where Flacco can win you some games? Or you want that mid bridge where it's like, give me Jacoby Brissett, and Jacoby, he might win you 3 games, but I could play my rookie.
What I will say is both of those names are fine. I think either one of those are the right answer for who the Browns should select their quarterback for the free agency. Reason for both is Joe Flacco just did it last season with Anthony Richardson, where I know he don't want to be a mentor and all those things. He came in, then he got benched again, and then Anthony Richardson kind of just took over for the rest of the season. So he was groomed into that last year.
Right.
So coming back here for the Cleveland Browns, if you want to get fans excited about the start of the season, because they'll be excited, but if you really want to get them excited, Joe Flacco is going to be the starting quarterback for the first whatever, until you feel like the young guy is ready to go, and then they'll take it over. I don't think he'll be that upset because he just did it last year. To where Jacoby Brissett, same thing. Jacoby Brissett with Drake May, he was the starting quarterback. Oh, we're rolling with Jacoby. We're rolling with Jacoby. And then, boom, Drake May comes in, and that was the end of it. So these are 2 guys that already know the deal. It's like J.B. Bickerstaff. You go get him until he gets it to a certain point. He's like, all right, we're going to get the real guy to take us the rest of the way. That's how these 2 guys were groomed last season. So they're already mentally there already. Like, they know what the deal is. And I think that those 2 guys would be perfect because those 2 guys ran Kevin's system the best. And, you could say I know Joe Flacco was the Super Bowl MVP and all those things, but Joe Flacco is towards the end of his career, and Jacoby Brissett has been a journeyman up until that point. But those two guys, you won't say that they're the best quarterback in the league. You won't say they got the strongest arm. You won't say that they're the fastest. None of that. These were just average at that point of their life. They were just average quarterbacks, and they played very well in this system. So you go get a quarterback that has the intangibles, that's fast or that can throw the ball, that's got great arm talent, got all that, and you and you put him in the room with these guys and just hear them talk and how they broke the game down and how they were able to be successful. They can add that to their repertoire, and they'll already be better if they can get the mentality of these guys, Joe Flacco and Jacoby Brissett. They already have better arm talent. They already are better athletes than they were, so they should be able to flourish. The biggest thing what made Joe and Jacoby so great, outside of the fact that they were tremendous leaders, was the fact that they were really good with play action. They were good with putting their back to the defense, which we talk about Deshaun. Deshaun, I don't really want to do that. Like, I want to be able to see the entire defense the whole time. But remember, I think we had Joe on the show. We had Joe on the show, and he was talking about how he was just comfortable just snapping that picture. And then when you come back after the play action, you look back up and you snap another picture and see what it is. A lot of quarterbacks, especially young quarterbacks in college, we running spread and we doing all this. We don't know how to really put our back to the defense because that's not what we do. So you need to learn that from a veteran that you see every single day, and those two guys were the best at it when they were here in Cleveland.
That was so cold, man. You know what? This is crazy, man.
You know, some people say like I'm like Barack. You know, I can talk really well.
I want to hire you as the secretary.
Here you go again, man. You done said this already.
Secretary, listen, I got Project Stockpile, but Tyvis has Project Propaganda. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Do you understand what he just sold you? He just told you, look, if Jimmy, if you're watching, this is how you do it. You need something to fleece these fans. You need a smooth fleece job. If you go get think about this, you go get you Flacco. You bring back all that old nostalgia. People is happy. Jimmy went out and did what he should have did.
Bust out that 15 jersey again.
Get that 15 jersey. You see him.
Flacco Valley.
Then you go draft. You know people like the nice guy right there that's in front of your face, but they want a shiny new toy that they can always dream that's better. So then you go draft a quarterback. So now you got a quarterback of the future plus stability with Joe Flacco, and then you say, all right, we're going to jump back into the first round. You know what we're going to do? I know that y'all missing Nick Chubb. I know. Listen, is Travion Henderson around? Is he around? He's a Buckeye. You love him. Yeah, I give you a shiny Buckeye. So look at all the toys you got now.
Yeah, you get a Buckeye here. It's on.
God forbid they bring in Will Howard.
Woo! Don't let Will Howard be in that
third round or something.
Fourth round.
Will and Joe?
Bro.
Oh, man, we back.
Project Propaganda would be so tight that people would be like, listen, Browns won 4 games. And listen, it's all about progress. They'll start talking like this is 76ers, McNuggets. This is all about the process. This is the big process, this journey. That was a beautiful run. I wouldn't mind if they won 4 games with that. Tyvis, I feel good about that. Down the field passing, come on.
I mean, listen, you got to feed Judy. You got to feed Njoku.
Right.
You got to get these guys the ball, and obviously pushing the ball down the field is the best way to do it. The Njoku played his best. The Njoku fell off. I know he got hurt, but he was not the same. But you know who had him looking really good? Joe Flacco did. You know, we was talking about when we had, back in that time, we had Marquise Goodwin, and we couldn't get a ball down the field. Joe Flacco got it down the field. We had Amari Cooper, who was a great – Amari broke the single-game record. Joe Flacco was a quarterback.
So you're bringing back Elijah Moore too?
I mean, Elijah didn't really flourish like that. Elijah,
that's where we draw the line.
The 8 ball and ran out, man. It hurts my heart. The 8 ball is gone, man.
Now, listen, if that – I'm just – with Flacco – What is it? Are you sure, Dustin, that Flacco can get how many? Because he's played 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. Can he last the whole year?
Oh yeah, he can. I mean, obviously, I'm predicting him not to get sacked 100 times a game, but I mean, I think he can last the whole year. It's like we're asking him to do a ton.
He lasted all the last year, right? I mean, I know he didn't start.
He played 8 games last year.
Yeah, he didn't start every game, but.
I listen.
He hasn't played more than 9 games in a season since 2017.
Well, that's even perfect for even more reason why he's perfect for a bridge guy.
And if you're Kevin Stefanski, he's one of the guys that I would definitely look at between him and Kirk Cousins that can definitely keep your job. Because the way Flacco leads people and the way people rally around him, you're not going to have Nick Chubb. You don't have, at least you'll have Joe Bitonio coming back as far as some leadership goes. But I think Flacco might have enough oomph and enough mojo and leadership skills that you might win some games that you shouldn't win.
Listen, you gotta at least make this offense feel like they can do something.
Right.
And I sent y'all the clip of when Cody Kessler was on NFL Network the other day, and he was talking about when he took his first snaps with the Browns against Miami, and
Kessler.
Cody, you didn't see this one? You was on the cruise, so you
I
probably
haven't
had
seen it, but I do remember when he started against
he was talking. He went over the first 3 plays, and they were terrible. But he was explaining like how he was nervous and all this stuff got to him and all these things, and he was saying like, here I am talking to Joe Thomas in the huddle, trying to tell Joe, like, to make Joe think like he's supposed to be confident in me, and here I am stuttering, I can't get the snap off and all these things, and I know Joe is thinking like, we got to deal with this for like the next 7 weeks and stuff like that. If you don't bring somebody to the huddle like that can command that, like, if I'm Judy or if I'm Bitonio, like, all right, so let's go ahead. We got 17 of these things. Come on, let's just go do these 17. Like, no. But like when Joe was out there, it was like everybody was on it. Like, we was all turned. Like, oh my goodness, we believe it. Remember they said Joe ended up snatching Teller or something. Somebody was celebrating, yelled at him and whatnot, got him to lock back in. Like, you need that type of command in the offense in the huddle right now. You got to at least give these players something to hope for on Sunday.
Listen, forget they said make America great again, make Sundays fun again.
I'm telling you,
that's all I want.
I'm telling you,
make Sundays fun again. Like that's the motto. I don't want to hear about our window. I don't want to hear about whether we're competing.
Make Sundays
I just want Sundays to be fun because I'm here to tell you, hey, we cover this stuff for a living. I know through the chats and everybody that covered the Browns. Last year was the nastiest year I've ever. Like, I didn't even want to watch it. Sundays, I was like, yeah, let me watch the first quarter. I'm gonna get on the game. I'm gonna get on the NCAA. This ain't here, especially at the end of the year.
The end of the year was brutal. And I had to do the radio.
Bro, I would listen to you in the car, but Tyvis is up here dying. Spin that one. But I just want it to be fun. And Joe Flacco will give me some fun. I can look forward to the quarterback. Even if you listen, even if you want to. Even if they say, yo, now, see, this is why people call me Duke and knee-jerk, because I've already been on record saying what I want to do, but I might say this. But even you say, can you imagine him spamming the rock to Travis Hunter? Can you imagine Joe Flacco just throwing deep balls to Travis Hunter?
You come see it,
and then they'd be like, "Oh, we got Milroe. We gonna put him in the Wildcat package. We got him in the second round."
Hey, man.
That gives you some. At least it's fun. At least it's fun.
Milroe break a long run. At least it's like, oh man, that's
wow! Well, look at this.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at this Wildcat package. Look at this.
Just give something. Like,
something.
It just got to be something.
Yeah. Now that you done got me hype on Flacco again, because it's nostalgia. Like, we act like he didn't throw 10 picks against.
He threw 2 pick sixes. Was it 2 pick sixes?
He's got 15 picks in his last 2 seasons.
Hey boy,
not including the playoffs.
Him and Jameis Winston, they have no emotions when it comes to it either.
Well, that's how you got to be.
That's how you got to be. I rock out, but I would take Flacco. Hey man, what about a poll? How many people would like Flacco back?
Well, I already did that for you, G. I'll give you the answer right now. We're one step ahead of you. We put the poll up in the chat and said, would you be in favor of a Flacco reunion? And the answer is, if I can
70% yes.
AI stuff out of the way. YouTube now is the thing where AI generates what the chat's talking about.
Yeah.
That's great, except it covers up the poll results and super chats. So it's out of the way. We said, would you be in favor of a Joe Flacco reunion? 63% said yes, sign me up. 36%, 37%, it's going back and forth, says no, he's old and washed.
That's a lot of people. It would be fun. I don't have. There's really no better options, to be truthful, guys. I mean,
no, Joe, Jacoby, or I guess Kirk Cousins.
Cousins, Daniel Jones.
That's it.
The Daniel Jones thing.
I'm cool.
Unless you really feel like you can fix him, like that'd be.
There's no fixing that.
I mean, hey, they said the same thing about Darnold and Geno and all these people.
That's not Darnold.
I think you play in the Big Apple. You need to like get out of that system and be given another opportunity. I'm not saying Cleveland's going to be the right spot for him. Deion Jones has ability.
I mean, he lit us up. He lit us up last year.
He can run too.
Yeah,
he's a good runner.
Yeah.
That's what I can say about Daniel Jones, the quarterback. All right, let's get to the Cavs to wrap up the YouTube portion of today's Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started. There's no better place to get in on that action than with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in on the action. And if you're looking for bigger payouts, you can even combine your live bets into same-game parlays. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if their first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to join today. That is FanDuel.com/UCSS for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook betting partner of the NBA. And if you win betting on the Cavs, send us in a ticket. We're going to start featuring a game on the show. So send in your winning FanDuel tickets. We love seeing our fans win with FanDuel. All right, guys, this is the all-athlete panel, which is the perfect panel to discuss this next topic with the Cavs. Kenny Atkinson said after their win against the Heat, we're in a bit of a slump right now, which is ironic because they're on a 12-game win streak. How do you find the balance between winning despite not playing your best and trying to make sure you are at your best form heading into the playoffs? Tyvis, how do you kind of, from an athlete perspective, balance that of, I know we're not playing great, but we're winning, so do we change? Do we have to make any big differences, make any big adjustments? How do you balance that facet of being an athlete at that kind of level?
To be honest with you, I think where the Cavs are now, they should be focused on maybe not the results, but the process. You know, and that's the thing about if you talk to a lot of great athletes, they always tell you to fall in love with the process, not the results. And what that means is, well, how that applies to this is when I go to the game, I know in film session, my coach is pointing out something that I'm doing wrong. It's not like I'm out there just the best basketball player and I'm just flawless. There's something that is not right. And what they need to do is when they get out there in game reps, because that's the best time to do it, that's when it matters the most, you need to fix those things. And if we win the game, we win the game. That's great. But come playoff times, whatever it is that I'm lacking, if it's I'm not great on defense or I'm not finishing well with my left hand, whatever it is, you better know that the other team knows that. And they're going to attack you and put you in situations to find out if you fixed that thing. So for me, for them, what they should be doing is making sure that they are well-rounded, that there is no flaws. Anything that another team think could be a problem, they have to be able to show that they got the solution and the answer for that. So to me, that's how you can do it and not worry about winning. You could be winning and not playing your best or whatever the heck you just said. Like, to me, they need to be out there focusing on individually the things that I need to get better at. And then obviously, if you win, great. If you don't, at least you got better during that course of that game.
I mean, listen, sometimes you don't always have your A game, in terms of your skill set, but you can control what you can control, which is your effort and how you play the game, your mindset, your focus, and all those things. And that's where I think the team needs to be right now. I mean, they haven't played their best basketball the last few games, but they're still on a 12-game win streak. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And they can continue this tonight. I mean, they're on the road against the Hornets, who've lost 9 of the last 10. They're 18-point favorites on the road, which is, I think, the largest road favorite of the season. I mean, you just use these games to work on things. And like I said, if you take care of what you can control, and that's the effort, and that's the mental focus, and how you go about your business, and if everybody pulls their weight, you can win games when you don't play your best. I mean, that's the amazing thing about pro sports and sports in general is that not always the guys with the most skill end up winning all the time. Mm-hmm. The Cavs are a very skilled team, but they are a team that will outwork your ass. Yeah. And that's what I love about them.
I went back and I look at a certain amount of things, and I go back to 2014, right? No, was that 2014? Yes, 2014 when y'all won the championship, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. During the first part of that year, when y'all got beat by Virginia Tech, I was like, there's no way they're winning anything. they're not winning nothing.
That's messed up.
But by the end of the year,
Pretty messed up.
But by the end of the year,
Gave up on
where
us.
y'all got to. Now listen, I could go to Dustin. Dustin's team.
They didn't lose.
Nah, when they almost lost to Purdue, I said, how?
Holy Buckeye.
I said, why are they playing this way to Purdue? And these Purdue had nasty uniforms too. And
they were the gold and the white pants, dude.
And I'm like, y'all should be smoking these dudes. And it took to the last play of the game for them to win.
Mike Jenkins.
But
Not quite the last play, but
those little small little nuggets stay in the back of your head, and you probably was like, listen, if the realization was, damn, we can get touched. We can lose. We really can lose.
We can get
touched out here, bro. And so then you go to the end of the season, that's back there, and you know, I know what the other side of this thing looks like, right? So now you got that extra little piece of motivation. And for the Cavs, I don't know the way to look at it. I don't know to say, okay, well, we're playing bad right now. Like Dustin said earlier, you almost want them to take a couple L's. You almost want a few, because here's the thing. These games, this game against the Heat, they should have lost that game. And you don't want them to get lulled to sleep thinking, we can give up 20. We can spot you 13. We letting Duncan Robinson get to the rim and dunk, and we let guys just get open jumpers. That type of stuff can float in the regular season. And like Donovan Mitchell said, he came out and said, that's great. We can win all these games. We done clinch. But at the end of the day, we need to win a championship. This is what this is all about. And so for me, I look at it is I want to see how Kenny Atkinson coaches this thing. Because, I would love to have something on tape that says, hey, we lost to this team right here, and they had 4 starters out at home. What was we doing?
They probably should have lost 3 of the last 4 games. And they're 4-0
The Portland one is the one that I was like, yeah, they probably going to lose this game.
The Portland one, the Bulls game was in tow. But there's that. It's a fine line, and I don't have all the answers, but it's a fine line from being, hey, we're a great team that's resilient, or we just be letting our foot off the gas and playing around and we got lucky. It's a very fine line with that. But in the playoffs, that's how you end up slipping up and losing home court, because you was playing around and all of a sudden somebody get hot. And then you're down 0-1, and then now you got to win game on the road.
In the playoffs, I feel like once a team go down 20, it's depending on where the game is, they pull the starters out and just wave the white flag. We're going to get ready for next game. The Cavs did it last year against Orlando, and it was vice versa. They go up by 20. All right, we're worried about the next game. Y'all put the bench players in.
And the thing for me, Dustin, is sometimes you don't, even in college football now, it's cool because you get to see guys have to play 4 or 5. It seems like they're playing forever. You get to see them play those 4 or 5 games and have to refocus very quickly to get back on it. In the playoffs, the game be way different. And for this team, I think a lot of the apprehensiveness is we haven't seen them have to put it together back again and say, okay, we just lost. We down 0-2 or we down 0-1 or we lost on the road. And until you see it, until you get to that point, you just have to say, well, I don't know if they're going to be able to pull that type of stuff off in the postseason.
Yeah, I think that's fair. They haven't been in a situation where they're playing a series where you've got games to go back, watch the tape, take a day off, come back to and face the exact same opponent again. That's going to be the different part about this postseason. And these regular season games, look, think about this. If they win, they're on a 12-game win streak right now. Let's say they win tonight, 13 games. They got a game with Sunday,
then Tuesday.
Sunday, then Tuesday. So they got the Nets, or is it the...
it's the Bucks on the road Sunday night, Nets home Tuesday.
Nets home Tuesday. What if they win 7 more in a row? They're 19-game win streak going to end the year.
That's rough. That is... It almost seems weird because no team usually with that level of win streak or that lead play their guys like that. They start resting guys.
My concern is you know how it is, guys. When you get to the postseason, it's almost like you're playing a different sport.
Yeah.
Okay. So for us to be so locked in and excited about this regular season right now, I just don't want it to derail what the prize is, what the goal is, which is the championship. And and I don't want them to get caught up in this 70 wins or 66 wins or whatever it may be. I want them to have fun and go do your thing like you've been doing all season. But man, at the end of the day, it's about putting the banner up, man.
Yeah.
You're not putting a banner up for 70 wins.
Who's in the play-in right now?
As of today,
Bulls.
the way the play-in stacks up, the 7 seed is Miami. They would play the 8-seeded Atlanta Hawks. Winner of that game gets the 7 seed. The Magic have fallen to the 9th seed. They'd play the Bulls, losers out. The winner of the Magic Bulls game would play the loser of the Heat Hawks game. Winner of that would get the 8th seed and play Cleveland in the first round.
So basically, you telling me it's a mix between either Orlando, the Bulls, the Hawks, or the Heat?
Correct. And those
Should
4
smoke
teams,
their boots.
those 4 teams are pretty much, the order could change. They will be the 4 play-in teams. Miami, who's currently 7th, is 5 full games back from Detroit, who's in 6th. And the Bulls, who are in 10th, are 3.5 games above the Nets. But the Nets and the Sixers are trying to lose.
Have we played the Hawks since we lost to them back to back?
Yeah, but they've already finished their season series. They don't play again this year.
What was the series? We was one.
Didn't it finish 2-2?
Okay.
Under no circumstances should we be worried about the first round. None. There should be zero worried about the first round.
I agree.
Second round game, because look, even in the second round, if you catch the Bucks, if you catch the Knicks,
They played 3 times, by the way. It was 2-1 Atlanta. Sorry.
if you catch the Bucks or the Knicks, you're gonna be a little spooked. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know about the Knicks.
Listen,
I
the
know
Knicks,
I think they overcame the bright light thing.
not spooked to a point where they're gonna be like, oh my goodness.
Now, we haven't played Mitchell Robinson this season, right?
The Cavs, if they matched up with the Knicks in a playoff series, should run through New York.
You would think.
They should run through the Knicks. The Knicks, and I know it was 1 game, but when the Knicks came here a couple weeks ago, and they play again at the end of the season, they play the Knicks twice again, twice more this season, 1 in Cleveland, 1 in New York.
Okay.
The Knicks have no answer for the Cavs from a defensive standpoint. They cannot keep the Cavs out of the paint, and if the Cavs can get into the paint and Karl Anthony Towns is really the only threat of rim protection, they have no shot.
They shouldn't have no problems. It's only them doggone Celtics. I'm not even going to talk about listen, I've people in Oklahoma City, they've been spamming me since I call SGA a grocery store.
OKC's good, G. Don't
I don't want no problem with them.
You called him a grocery store?
I called him a grocery store. He hit us for 40 in like the first half. 40. Like
You see what he was doing lately, G?
He just had 50.
Yeah, 50.
He had the quickest. He had four games, 50 points in 19 days, or 19 games. It was the shortest span in NBA history or in the modern era of NBA history.
Mid-range assassin.
But I just don't understand how he does it. I
don't either, man.
I don't get it. Like Dustin, I'll be looking.
He's not a ball hog.
Like he's not like.
I mean, the guy
super athletic. He's not like super fast or jump super high. He don't shoot a bunch of threes.
I sort of feel like he is super fast and super athletic. But he don't necessarily look like it at all times.
He's shifty.
He
He has a stop-start to his game.
He does.
And Brunson's similar in that sense.
My goodness.
It's a stop-start that you just aren't used to.
And no disrespect.
And he's got them gadget inspector arms, G, that he gets some shots off and range floaters and angles that other dudes just can't do.
It's just crazy. Like, and listen, he go win the MVP.
By the way,
Don't you think that's wrapped up?
Yes.
If he plays like this the rest of the season, yeah, he's gonna win unanimously.
I mean, that's wrapped all the way up. Now, to me, the hope I have is, maybe that the Lakers could beat them, because I actually feel like I'm already prognosticating.
You want the Cavs-Lakers final?
I like that matchup.
Got to beat LeBron.
I've never said I like that. Give me LeBron. Give me the 50-year-old LeBron. Like, I let them play hero ball.
He really turned it on.
Listen, it would be
against the Cavs.
Yeah.
He would try to go for 50 every day.
But which matchup you like better, McNuggets?
For the Cavs,
Yeah.
the Lakers or the Thunder?
Yes.
I want to see the Lakers.
Yeah, I do too.
That'd be the most fun of all potential playoff series.
But do you think that's the best matchup for the Cavs, or do you feel like
I think you make a case for either. I don't know, just like New York, I know the Lakers' defense has been really good of late.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have the athletes to stay in front of Cleveland. I also don't know if Cleveland – I don't know how you guard, not Cleveland. I don't know how anyone guards Luka and LeBron on the court at the same time. So I think I'd rather play the Thunder because it'd be their first time at that level, and they have one elite scorer, and then everyone else, we'll find out how they perform in the playoffs. The Lakers guys I have more faith in to perform at that stage. But from a matchup standpoint, I think the Cavs probably match up better against the Lakers. But I'd rather see the Thunder. I said both, but I'd rather see the Thunder.
The Thunder got a nice their arena is loud. They got a nice home court advantage. They
But if it's the Lakers, you know the refs are gonna be like, oh, LeBron, Luka, like it's gonna be tough to overcome that.
Donovan Mitchell is gonna have to take that him serum.
Yeah. All right, we got Super Chats to wrap up this portion of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We're heading over to WKYC Plus and WKYC TV in the Cleveland area in about 10 minutes, so make sure y'all tune in. But our first Super Chat comes from Isaiah Mojica, who says, Myles wants to be the greatest of all time. You can't sit out if that's your goal.
That's kind of facts.
Eddie Everhart says, the issue with trading Myles is the Browns will get extra picks, but then won't want to bundle those extra picks when it comes time to draft a quarterback.
I don't think we got to bundle no picks because they're going to take a quarterback this year.
I think he was saying if they trade him for future picks. It's like, you get a 26, now you have an extra one to move up.
Yeah.
Browns fans won't want to do that. Charles T. says, people are assuming Myles is good with money. I never would have thought Myles would be the one flipping cars in Amish country. He don't have the cards here.
No, he got bread. He got bread.
No, he's doing fine.
He's doing all right.
Next one. Mr. Jolly says, funny, fans will throw a parade for 0-16, but not Pickett and Berea for 25 years of misery and embarrassment.
I always told people, NFL and rooting for a team is now a religion. How many people you see change their religion just because you said something? Nobody. Bad things happen. I'm still down for the cause. That's what football is.
Ray Smith says, I was sad about Myles, but him making all this public adds to the negative narrative about the Browns. He's no better than the organization at this point. He has no leverage with 2 years left. Either play, retire, because you're not getting traded.
It's funny how we was waiting for that switch. Now just think about how crazy it's going to get about June. About May, June, when they still talking about it.
They're going to have the fans like fighting each other.
Yeah,
because you're going to have to take a side.
You're going to have to pick a side, bro. And why do we always got to do that here? We always got to pick a side, man. We've been doing that for 7 years.
I trade them.
I would say.
I tried. Well, I deal with it.
Hey, yeah, get some picks back. Go, try to fleece somebody. That's all we care about.
I want 3-1s. I want 3-1. If I listen, I got your Super Bowl right here. What Commanders? You want to get past the Eagles? I got it for you right here. Give me 3-1s.
You don't even need them.
All right, Vernell Jackson says Myles overplayed his hand. You're set, homie.
He went bored. He only went 3. How many books you got, Tyvis? 2 Impossible.
I'm not.
They didn't catch that one.
I'm a blind.
Went over my head too, man.
I'm going blind.
But you guys play euchre though. You know how to play euchre.
Yeah, it's an Ohio thing.
Yeah,
I'm going blind.
So we see there again. We're all as
white
one.
boys and girls.
Yeah, euchre, spade, same difference.
Mr. Wilson gifted 5 memberships, so shout out to Mr. Wilson.
Shout out to Mr. Wilson.
Armac Dog says, I'm over the small frame short quarterbacks, Flacco or Brissett. Give me either.
Okay.
And last but not least, Ron Bishop Samurovich says, what do you think about the Browns drafting Dylan Raiola, the quarterback from Nebraska, when he becomes available?
Oh, the Patty Mahomes 2.0.
The lookalike.
He got some more. He got to improve his game a little bit more. You know, he was nice at the beginning of the season, but his numbers just wasn't great. But also
he got sacked like 100 times.
Yeah, and they also don't have like receivers, so like he did what he was supposed to do. He got to develop some more. He got to develop.
See, this is great, man. When you got 2 college football analysts sitting up here, man, They do all these games.
He was good for a freshman.
Yeah.
He got to turn it up another notch this year.
Yeah, we're going to see, man. People love future quarterbacks.
The Browns should get Jonathan Allen. They just released him. The Commanders released him. The defensive tackle.
They have $13 million, Tyvis, to fill a lot of holes in the roster.
Hey, listen, it starts and ends with the front. Starts and ends in the trenches.
We can't even
The
talk.
Browns are almost like an expansion team.
Right, we ain't got no money. It's like back in the day, your boys say, "Hey, man, you want to go sit down at Delmonico's?" Man, I ain't got no Delmonico's money, dog.
I don't know what his demand. He might, you know,
We're
what
going
I'm
into
saying?
free agency like, man, I got these cheeseburgers, man.
So
Double cheeseburgers,
Doubles,
man.
extra cheese on that if you want.
on the WKYC show, we're going to do the first 20 minutes on a free agency primer, free agency preview. And one of the topics I wanted to ask was, who's your number one target for the Browns in free agency? And I could not get myself to ask you guys that question. Because with $13 million, you have no idea which direction they're going to go in. And B, I feel like what they do in free agency is going to dictate a lot of how they view this draft class. And until we had that information, I felt it was an unfair exercise to ask you guys to pick one target.
I mean, when you rolling up pennies, when you bring in, see, that's funny to some people. When you put in that coin a minute, you go to Walmart.
You got to dump that coin in there and turn it into cash.
Yeah, boy, you get that little ticket back, boy. You know, I was old doing that. I was like 31 doing that. What you talking about?
A roll of pennies.
What's your life like?
100 pennies for $1. You tell you what, man.
Boy.
Back in the day,
Boy.
go in there and break out that little bank.
Man.
Like, listen, I got to go to the corner, so I'm trying to get me 4 bags of chips. I go in there with a whole roll of pennies.
They don't know the struggle trying to put together a few dollars to go get a court at Grand Slam.
Listen, you trying to get that?
You not trying to get that court? 30 minutes?
Hey man, you said a place called Grand Slam USA, man. They used to have these courts of ice cream, bro. You used to be trying to
video games,
bag cages, man. But everything in there was over like $2. So it was rough. Like you could only get half of this. You play one video game, but you was always gonna save this money for this ice cream, which was delicious. Like it was, I would save my money all week for that, man. I asked my grandma and grandpa, "Hey man, break your break, grandma. Let me get some of them little coins in that little bag."
Yeah, let me go in the little box and get a couple quarters out of there.
That was the days, man. Them was the days.
We will see you on WKYC and the WKYC Plus app in 3.5 minutes.
Peace. That was crazy.